It was after I started the podcast that I started making those connections. And after having the podcast that I started wondering why it was so hard. Because actually launching a podcast, starting a podcast is harder than you think it is. Maybe you as a listener have already launched your podcast and you're already saying, man, this is harder than I thought it was. You know, it's simple to have a podcast. It's simple, easy to record. It's easy to publish, but man, the success of a podcast is a challenge, especially if you don't know what you're doing. I didn't know what I was doing. I learned along the way and I learned the hard way. So then I started like helping different friends start their podcasts, and then their podcast got more famous than mine. And I saw what was happening, what we were doing right, what we were doing wrong with all of my friends that launched podcasts after me. And we started learning how to get people on New and Noteworthy. And we started learning like how to do the best launch and pre-launch. And this is some of the stuff now what I teach my clients, people that work with my company. These are the things that they automatically learn is because of all of this time and effort. So I started this podcast long time, several years ago, 5-6 years ago. And then about 3 or 4 years after, I ended up selling the podcast to a different owner. It was ranking now, finally. It didn't rank forever. We had like 50 downloads per episode. And then I sold it, and it had, right when I was putting it up for sale, it had like 3,500 downloads per episode. Still not a lot, but it is a lot. I mean, how do I say it? It's not Joe Rogan style, okay? Because he has like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of downloads per episode. So 3,500 is way lower, way less than Joe Rogan. But when you look at it compared to other podcasts, it's easily in the top 1% based on the downloads. And so in many ways, it was a very successful podcast. In other ways, there was definitely more podcasts that were more successful.